And welcome back to What If. And today's What If comes to us from Emperor Vladicus, who asked the question, what if Skynet took over the droid separatist army in Star Wars? Now, obviously, they don't actually exist in the same time frame or universe, but for the sake of a what if, let's assume that the way this takes place is the separatist army, at least a faction of them, wind up on a post-apocalyptic Earth-like planet where Skynet exists. Skynet is very easily capable of possessing other androids, robots, things along those lines. There are ways around it and to avoid it, but they are very easily capable of doing that. They can possess AIs as well, like in T3, the TX was able to at least temporarily reprogram the Arnold's Terminator. So what would essentially happen is what would essentially happen is the entire Separatist Droid army would be under control of Skynet. They would completely wipe out the Separatists, and the reason for that is very simple. All the droids are connected to the mothership, and like the main control panel and everything along those lines. So you take control of one, you essentially have access to the entire thing. Ergo, you have an army of higher tech, I guess, Terminators with laser guns and all that to, excuse me while I take a drink. I haven't been feeling great the last couple of days. I think I know what's wrong, but it's I think I have a case of heat stroke, unfortunately. Anyway, I digress. So, I just lost my train of thought. So the Separatists get wiped out. So now the Separatist army is Skynet. So what does Skynet do? Well, now they have access to other planets and everything along those lines. They basically just go world to world, conquering and taking places over. Not even like leaving Star Wars, taking it over. Now, depending on when we're doing this during Clone Wars, there is a wild card in the mix when it comes to the Separatist army. And that is General Grievous. General Grievous, despite how he looks and everything along those lines, is not a droid. He does have programming that was implemented into his brain, but his brain is still his brain. So his brain is a mix of machine and I can't remember the name of his species. Give me one second. What was the name of General Grievous' species? Just for reference. See now, General Grievous. What was the name of his species? Oddly enough, his species actually looks pretty much like his droid body looks, or at least in Kalish. That's it. His species known as the Kalish. So General Grievous has because his body couldn't necessarily keep up with like lightsaber forms, like Grievous was trying to teach him. He is he is a skilled technician and warrior. So they implemented mechanics into his brain, so that would allow him to kind of keep up with everything that was going on there. And give me 1 second here. Personality and traits. He's a very cruel individual. Whatever. I'm not doing a who would win, so it doesn't matter. Due to his darkness, he could be even resistant to explosions. Okay. Competent strategist. MSRV, he was able to correctly anticipate Republican moves. He was able to fool the Republic. Only person who could figure out his plan was rival Obi-Wan. He was able to recognize Maul had yet to deploy warships. Okay. So anyway, it doesn't specify this, but he had implements in his brain. I digress. So because he's not droid, because he's only kind of here's the thing. I don't think he was actually connected to the mothership, to like the main controls that controlled the droids. I don't think he was connected to that. The reason I say that is if they wanted to shut Grievous down at any point, they could. And like Grievous wasn't receiving command. I mean, he received commands, but it wasn't like just through his brain or anything like that. So I don't think Grievous was connected. I think he just had components in his brain, which basically means that he is a wild card in this. Now, what would he because he would find out. I'm certain he would find out. Because now they have files on everyone in the Separatist army, including General Grievous. Excuse me. They would know that he is both a threat and a asset. So, threat analysis. They bring him in, and Grievous, fully calls him out on it. Say, "You took over the Separatists. You killed them all. I never did like them. I never did like them." I don't know exactly. I can't do a good General Grievous voice just because it's all mechanized and things along those lines. But anyway, so he would agree to work with him. So now you'd have General Grievous and Skynet working together. Now, what would the real benefits of Skynet taking over the Separatist army be? Well, one, they have no human bodies at all. So they don't have that. We don't have like a leverage weakness against them if they get kidnapped. Two, they can just keep pushing. Because Skynet's purpose is different than, say, the Separatist goal, they would keep pushing just into deeper, farther reaches, the farther reaches of space, like through the outer rims and things along those lines. And that would basically allow them to, conquer more and more worlds, making them, Skynet worlds. They'd even have an advantage over things like, there's a substance, it's like a sentient goo that can possess and basically mutilate and kind of turn you into a possessed zombie. It's basically like, it's just like a plague, essentially. It's an ooze, essentially. But I believe it only works on organic material. So if you're a droid, they'll allow them to just push right through that. Eventually, though, what would happen? They would come to blows, obviously, with the Republic, and Darth Sidious would be another thing too. I think Grievous, who serve Sidious, would let Sidious know. Sidious would be planning about this whole Skynet thing. And making sure that none of their technology is going to be able to be possessed, anything along those lines. And basically, here's where it is. I think Skynet will never fully go away in the Star Wars universe in this scenario, because at the point they try to invade the Republic or anything like that, they'd have too many outposts, too many places they could just the Skynet AI could just jump its intelligence back and forth and just go and rebuild more places. But I think it's kind of like a little bit like the Borg. They're there and they're a threat, but compared to some other things, they're not as big a threat as you may think. So when they try to invade the Republic, they have no way to hack a lightsaber or even just a standard blaster. That's all like basic weaponry that they just don't have anything available for. They may try to upgrade and may make all the droids might not have shields like a destroyer droid does. Or they may just all be super battle droids with shields, or just destroyers or other kind of new droids. Ultimately, though, things like the Force is something they just have no defense against. Lightsabers are something they'd have a very hard time against, at least in close range combat. Blasters and heavy artillery fire, they would need a lot. Sorry, step out of my computer. They need a lot to compensate for that. So ultimately, no, they wouldn't overtake the Republic or even the galaxy, but they would be a constant. They would be there. So if you continue on past the reaches of the prequels, when that would happen, and then go into say the main series, I do think Palpatine would take measures to keep them in check. Take Palpatine out of the equation. The First Order not as powerful not as anywhere near powerful as the Empire was. You then would start to what's the best way to put it? They may make a comeback at points, and then you'd get them showing up in the the new movies, maybe possibly being a main threat in one of them. I don't think the First Order would be a big thing. They would deal with them when they had to. But the First Order would be focusing on other things. So, ultimately, what are we dealing with when we're dealing with Skynet in this case? We're dealing with an opponent that, unless you could kill the AI itself, which, given the fact that they'd be probably conquering a lot of worlds before they even tried to attempt to take on the Republic, the AI could just jump back to home and whatever. So I doubt that's possible. Although it's possible to block transmissions from things. So if you could keep the AI in one spot, you could win, and I think maybe there's a scenario where that happens. In which case, then Skynet's destroyed, and everything is as it should. Everything is as it would be. But I feel it's more likely they would continue on in some capacity. So that's what I think would happen if Skynet took over the Separatist Droid army. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for would win, Star Wars, Super Magic, what if, anything I do on the channel. Put that in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to that at some point. I'll be back a little later with actually another Lantern Corps video. So keep your eyes out for that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.